Hey, Pop Culture Pals. I'm here with my November recap from Boris Basement on eBay. Let's take a look at how November went for us and see maybe how it went for you too. Okay, I'm going to start out with an UGG. We're going to be very honest here. I'm giving you solid numbers. And you can see in November, our sales were actually some of the worst we've had all year. We were down 22% versus the previous month. That was quite a bit. And we were only saved by the fact that we had a couple of really pricey items sell. So, not that many items. You can see we sold 77 items. That was 13% down from the previous month. Our average sale price itself was also down because we had a few smaller sales that really didn't help. And overall, like I said, our entire net sales, when you take out fees, we were down 21%. But we're not crying because it was November. We were very busy. It was the holiday time. And, we probably didn't put as much effort into eBay as we normally do. We were running a coupon code for 20% off, 15% off, I think, at the beginning of the month, and then 20%. And I also tried some promotional um, ads because I was offered a credit by eBay, and we found them to be completely ineffective, I guess, in November. I think we just couldn't compete with Black Friday sales. Having said that, I've got some things to show you, some of our best sales and a few oddballs that I think might be interesting to you if you are looking for items to sell in your store. This was our best sale of the month. It was an item that was very near and dear to my heart. I love scripts. I love anything that has to do with behind the scenes in television. This was a Gunsmoke original script from 1974. You can see it's got some damage to it, but it is definitely a screen used item. And we were so excited to have found it. It was a Shop Goodwill buy. You may remember one of my earlier videos. There was a stack of scripts for sale on Shop Goodwill, and they were very bad about describing them. I think that kind of said something like TV scripts from 70s or something like that. And in there were two original Gunsmoke scripts and several MASH scripts. We did extremely well. I think I paid less than $30, even with shipping, for the whole stack, and we made our money back on the very first script. So this one sold. We had it up for $95. I do believe we took an offer on it. What was funny about this is there was another. There were two people who wanted it, and somebody who had bought something else from us, and he was trying to come in really low price on this item, and we were like, I just didn't really think I wanted to let it go. And while we were kind of back and forth with the other customer, and he didn't want to pay the higher price, somebody else came in and bought it at full price. So that was fun, exciting. It went to a new home. We're so happy to see it go to somebody who's going to love it as much as we did finding it. This is a weird one that was a super timing issue. So let's talk about timing. Two things happened here. So and again, you may have seen this if you watch my other videos, you'll see this in a haul. We went to Goodwill day or two after Halloween, and they had all of their Halloween costumes on sale for 75% off. And what I love about Halloween time at the thrift stores is they tend to throw in what I would call non-costume things, particularly vintage clothing and oddball items that can sell all year round. This was one of them. I was flipping through, I found this shirt. The texture on it was kind of weird. It said something about being made in Las Vegas, and it said nobody too across the side. I didn't know what it was, but it felt very much like a promotional movie shirt to me. Honestly, I had no clue. We love Hawaiian shirts. The Las Vegas also sold me. I thought maybe it was some kind of Vegas thing. And I think it had been priced at like $5, $6, and then 75% off. So I'm like, I'm going to take a chance on it. I get home and look it up and find out that Nobody 2 is a movie with Bob Odenkirk from 2025, and this was a promotional shirt that was given out for the movie. Other people had it up in the $50 range, and I thought, that's amazing. So I put it aside to list it, and I don't know, a week or so later, I get an email from Peacock that we subscribe to, a streaming service, and the big headline was coming to Peacock this month, Nobody 2 with Bob Odenkirk. I couldn't believe it. I'd never heard of the movie. And I quickly grabbed this out of my to be listed pile, got it listed, and it sold, gosh, I want to say within the week of us putting it up. Somebody used a coupon on it, so $45 minus 20%, and we had shipping on top. It weighed nothing to ship. This was a super deal. I probably again had less than $3 invested in it. So even after fees and the discount and everything, we made a good $25, $30 on this item. Again, picked up in a Halloween clearance sale. This is a really odd one. And I guess my story here is don't be afraid to take a chance. Now, I don't say go crazy. I believe that sticking to certain types of items in your store you'll have a better chance of selling them because eBay wants to send customers to the most likely place where they're going to buy. So I sell pop culture items, obviously. And if I started trying to sell tires for a car tomorrow, I might sell them if they're extremely rare and I had a great price on them, but I am not going to be top on the list of people, of stores that eBay is going to show when somebody's searching for tires. So I have no scientific evidence to back that up, but it does make sense when everything you know about eBay's logarithm. You're better off sticking in your lane. This item was sort of in my lane, close enough that we took a chance. I really took a chance because I didn't buy this item specifically. Let me explain. Again, if you've watched my previous videos, I have been buying quite a lot from a whatnot seller who was selling off items that had belonged to a collector that was very heavily into Broadway, ballet, and the opera. The gentleman was a friends with a Russian ballerina and her husband, I believe, and he used to go to Russia to see them perform and would bring back, as people do, souvenirs from Russia. So I bought a box of stuff, and I do mean stuff, from this seller after numerous auctions. It was just a random box of paper that had belonged to this fellow. There were some sunglasses in there, there were some candles in there, and there was some Russian sort of souvenir items, including this. Now it's a little hard to tell from this picture. This is a strip, couple of feet tall, and it was in a roll. It does have some cracking from where it was rolled. I got it. I had no idea what it was. If you have no idea what something is, there is Google Lens. It's on your phone. Take a picture of it, and Google will help you identify it. Google will also translate for you. So what I did was I ran Google Translate over this and picked out enough words that when I put it into Google search engine, I figured out that this was a series of prints of art of this particular Russian futurist graphic artist. He did a lot of art in that sort of style of old Russian propaganda posters, and that a couple, if not all of the pieces, I think a couple of them, are book covers that he did for another famous Russian poet. So it was sort of a combination of two famous Russian artists, an artist and a poet. And the prints of this guy's work do sell for good money if you have legitimate prints. This was an interesting little piece. Again, it was very narrow and rolled, and I'm assuming it was a poster again that was sold probably in a souvenir shop, maybe a museum shop. We had no idea what it was worth. There was nothing like it on eBay, only full-size prints of this artist, books of his work. I picked a price point that I was comfortable at, which was 55, and some shipping on it because we knew we were going to have to box it. It was a delicate rolled piece. And within day, 24 hours of putting it up, a someone came along so excited, asked us about the provenance of it, asked us what we knew in addition to what we'd written in the listing about it. She paid full price for it and was very excited to have it. Now, maybe she was very excited because it's worth a whole lot more than we put it up for. Could be. Could be it was worth a couple of $100. Hopefully it wasn't worth a couple of $1,000. I don't want to know if that's true. But could have been worth several hundred. I don't know. But I was happy to get 55 for it. She was excited to get it for that. She seemed to really know what it was, and we sent it off to a new home. Uh, that's great. That's what I do. I am a matchmaker for lost items. This thing could have ended up in the trash and very likely would have if this seller hadn't bought it and hadn't sold it to me and I sold it to her. So exciting. Find things. If don't go out and spend a ton of money on something you don't know what it is. But I love to buy box lots and just sort through them. Sometimes it's a miss. Sometimes there's nothing in there that's really worth what I paid. And other times, like this, it was a super item. And I had such a great time researching it and finding out about it and about these artists. That's kind of just a bonus, too. Now we're going to move on to a fail because I think it's only fair that we share the good and the bad. So this is Charlie Brown Christmas ornament shaped playing cards. They're completely sealed, brand new in the box. I bought these, I want to say, 2 Christmases ago, maybe even 3. I had this great idea after Christmas that I would go to our local mall and hit Hot Topic and hit Box Lunch and other places like that and buy up stuff that was on markdown to resell on eBay. Seemed like a great idea. Not so much. Everything I bought that time that or in that visit has sold eventually. This was literally the last item, but it took forever, and I probably lucky if I even made back what I spent. I think the logic is that if Box Lunch, a giant retailer, can't sell an item, why do I think I can? So I thought these were adorable. I'm a big fan of Charlie Brown Christmas. I thought they were kind of fun. Little for families to use to play. They were sealed. In the end, we sold them for $10 with free shipping. Shipping on them was at least probably $5 with fees. In the end, I probably cleared about $2, and I probably paid $2 because they were originally, I think it says here, excuse me. So they were originally almost $9, and they were probably, half price, 75% off after Christmas. So I still paid a couple bucks. So I probably didn't lose anything, but I didn't make anything. And they annoyed me because they were in our store for 2 years. My husband's a big fan of let it sit until it sells. I am not. And this is another one of those things that I believe wholeheartedly, a lot of eBayers do believe, that there comes a point where old merchandise, I don't care how good it is, what it is, it's just not going to sell because, sorry, my throat here, eBay is not going to show it to people. If it hasn't sold for 2 years, eBay is going to look at that item and go, nobody wants this, and they're not going to show it. So, you know, this was 2 years of putting it up, taking it down to make $2. I won't do that again. And then we have something that you probably won't believe. This is a VHS tape. You have, if you are a thrifter, if you are a person who goes to garage sales and estate sales, you see a lot of VHS tapes. People are dumping them out. They can't get rid of them fast enough. The stores, for a long time, the thrift stores didn't even want to take them. But VHS is having a little bit of a resurgence, and some of them are becoming a little bit more worthwhile, particularly ones that are sealed. horror movies, everybody will tell you, are particularly popular. But there's also a few oddballs that sell. Now, this one is When Time Ran Out, which is an Irwin Allen movie. Now, my husband and I are huge collectors of Irwin Allen memorabilia, collectibles, and we had this in our personal collection for a long time. But my husband is a completist, and he will pick this up every time he finds it. So we have multiple copies of it in multiple different forms. So we were cleaning out our own stash a couple months ago, and he decided he was okay parting with this one because he had backup copies. And I said, "Oh, I doubt it has any value at all." And he said, "No, no, no. This is the rare expanded edition. People pay money for this." Well, I was skeptical, but we put it up at $20 plus shipping, and it sold. It sold within a couple of weeks. Um, yeah, $20 for an old VHS tape. Who would have thought? And again, not a particularly rare movie. You can find this movie in many, many formats, but apparently this particular version of the movie was not reproduced in other formats. So the one you'll find on DVD or all that is not the expanded edition, it's a edited edition. So fans, look for this copy because, yeah, they can't get it in other formats. So it was a lot of fun. And it also had these great Hollywood video stickers on it, which made it even more cool. So don't automatically overlook VHS tapes. Don't automatically pick them up. And do check if they haven't been stored properly. If you see white flecks on the inside, that's mold. Unless the video is a really, really rare, like several $100 obscure horror movie, I wouldn't mess with anything that's moldy. There are ways to clean them. If it's not what you do, you're not going to do it. The real diehard collectors will buy up the ones that have the mold if it's extremely rare because they can clean it. But yeah, I don't mess with it. You shouldn't either. All right, couple more. This is a be on the lookout because I have never believed what these are worth. So these are plastic cups from Duck Dynasty, the A&E television series. They come in pink, green. They come in this camo print. I think there's a plain green as well, and then these camos. I think there's another color camo. I found these originally last year, maybe. I'll make clear, not these. I found Duck Dynasty tumblers at our Savers. They were marked at like $2 each individually, and I had bought all the ones they had. I think they had 5 at the time. They sold, that batch sold in the $30 range. We might even have broken it out, but like quadrupled our money on them. And I thought it had to be a fluke, like it was I happened, like a timing thing, like we talked about with Nobody Too, that, I know that one of the members had passed away and maybe it was just really timing. So a couple weeks ago, I was in that same Savers and I found 3 more of the Duck Dynasty cups, again marked at about $1.99 each. I bought them, I get a discount at Savers, put them up, and they sold also within a couple of weeks for $25 plus $8 shipping. Yeah, I don't know what it is about these cups. They're kind of Tupperware-y plastic cups. And for whatever reason, they are very popular. Now, at some point, they won't be popular anymore. So before you spend a ton of money buying Duck Dynasty cups, check them online, see how they're trending. But if you see these, and especially if you see them for a couple cents a piece at a garage sale, whatever, buy them. They're incredibly, yeah, hot. Again, $25 not huge, but if you're paying $1.50 a piece for them, that's a great flip. 2 more items. One is the weirdest thing we sold in November. Yeah. Again, this is also a little bit out of our comfort zone. I do occasionally pick up vintage items and particularly fashion related vintage items. So we don't do well selling vintage fashion, which is a shame because I found the most amazing vintage jacket in our Savers the other day, but we cannot sell it. We can't give it away. And other people will get hundreds of dollars for an item that we can't sell for 10. But every so often I just see something and I just go, Yeah, that's cool. So I was on a whatnot auction and I had free shipping, and he happened to pull this out and said, "Oh, look, I have this. It's a little Brooks Brothers little tiny velvet bag that had collar stays." For those of you who are not as nattily dressed, they are little sticks that go into the points of the collar to keep them from turning up. And there was one Brooks Brothers, that's like a tongue twister, button in the bag, as well as a few other vintage items, button and snap pieces. I bought it a dollar. I had free shipping. I probably got it for $1, and it sold for 20. No, it was free shipping. It was extremely light, but if you know eBay, even the lightest shipping is probably $4 or $5. So that and the fees and what I paid for it, we still cleared at least $10 in a couple of weeks on an item that was, almost nothing to photograph, nothing to store, and very cheap to ship, easy to ship. It was just a fun little item. Definitely the weirdest thing we sold in November. The last item I want to show you is also one of our better sales. It was probably our second highest sale of the month. And it is another question of timing. So much so that I couldn't believe when I found it that no one had bought it before me. And here's what it is. This is a Wicked Elphaba adult hooded jacket, official, from Universal Studios. And yes, it still has its $70 price tag on it. It is absolutely, the picture doesn't do justice because it's very slouchy, but it was a beautiful, well made. This is not a costume piece. This is something you're meant to wear every day. Super sort of a cape version, but with sleeves that said Wicked across the back, had this gorgeous lining in it. So this again was an item I picked up when Savers had their 75% off Halloween sale. So the day before I got that Nobody 2 shirt, I was at Savers, and this was just on the rack. It was like right there, and I saw it and thought, and Universal Studios is again one of my absolute, like, I have to have everything Universal Studios. I saw the Universal tag and went, what the heck is this? And then when I saw that it was Wicked, beautiful embroidery across the back, and then I saw that it was new with tags, I thought, oh my God, like, am I like being punked here? Like, how can this still be on the 75% off rack? So all I can think of is they forgot to put it out, and at the last minute, they threw it on the Halloween rack, and it's too late. But again, it's not even a Halloween item. It's a gorgeous jacket. So they had it priced at like $14. Again, Savers is higher than most other thrift stores. I had a discount. And remember what we said, it was like 75% off the price. So in the end, again, my math is all crazy, but I paid no more than $5 for this item. No more. Maybe even less in the end after my discounts plus the discount. Brand new with tags. And we might have been able to hold out for more money, but Wicked just came out in the movies last week, Wicked 2, good, Wicked for Good. So we rushed to get it put up. I'm usually pretty quick with turnarounds, but on things like this and like the Nobody 2, I made sure that we got it up right away, knowing the movie was going to premiere in November. And honestly, was surprised it didn't sell even quicker because our price was really great, and other people had it up, but the keywords that people were using to sell this were kind of all over the place. And this, because it's sort of a jacket, it's sort of a cape, it was confusing. So some people had it up, and some people had it up at higher prices, a little bit lower prices. This was the sweet spot. I usually try to find, I usually don't try to come in as the highest price person, not the lowest. I like to find somewhere on the high side of the middle. So we came in at 50 with $8 shipping. It was quite hefty to ship. It was quite, again, a really nice piece of clothing, very quality piece of clothing. And it did sell within, well, certainly a couple of weeks, because I know I put it up right before the movie came out. The movie came out on the 21st or 22nd of November, and this sold right at the end of November. So yeah, it wasn't up more than 2 weeks, but really we thought it was going to sell within a day, being what it was. So that was so exciting. And this is the reason I do what I do is I love the hunt. And if you are a thrifter, you're an eBayer, you know what that's like. When I found this on the rack, it was such a thrill to own it for even that small amount of time, knowing that again, I was getting it between savers to me, to someone else's good home, somebody was going to wear it. If it had been my size, I would have kept it. It was I was really attached to this jacket, and I really wished it had been a size I could wear and can keep because it was so nice. But if I couldn't keep it, I'm glad that I was able to get it over to someone else to enjoy. So that's what I have for you in November. Like I said, it was not our best month. We were down 20% overall in sales, but we were really helped out by things like this $50 item, the $95 script, the $30 Nobody 2 shirt, quite a few of those little items, and then the small ones, the $1, $2 item. I don't suggest that you go thrifting with the intention of picking up items that have a $1, $2 profit. They're really not worth your time. But once you've bought something and you've hung on to it a while and you've done your best to sell it, just mark it down. Mark it down, take the dollar or two and get it out of your inventory and go. Why not at that point? The other items totally made up for anything I might have lost along the way. We still came out well into the profit end after all the fees and after what it cost us to source. So I'm happy. And since December, we our coupon is off for the moment, but we've already had a super start to December. As soon as we crossed out of Black Friday, our sales picked up, and we had my two favorite things. We had combinations of old items moving out the door just so I can clear. I'm really trying to clear the inventory by the end of the year, and a couple of really good sales on $40, $30, $40 items, which is kind of our sweet spot these days. If I can sell something in the 30, 40 range, that's a fantastic day. And I don't have to sell 10 items. I only have to sell one to make my day. All right, that's it. I'm really through this time. I would love to hear how your sales were in November. Were they bad for you? Were they good for you? And did you go thrifting in all the chaos of Black Friday? Did you go to Black Friday sales? Maybe pick up something there that you are going to resell because the prices were so good. We always love to hear about your pop culture finds. Do share them with us. We'd love to know. And I'll be back with another, I don't know what I'll have. Some unboxing. I have a lot of new t-shirts I could show you, but I will continue to bring you our pop culture goodies. And you can always go over to eBay, check out our store, Boris Basement, if you want to see what we have for sale right now and buy from us. Let me know if you saw us on YouTube. Send me a message and we can make a deal. See you later, Pop Culture Pals.